Hello everybody, and good evening once again. Welcome to E2E, our show where we bring you the world's best experts straight in your house, on your home, on your phone, straight there with you. And today, once again, we have an amazing guest, and this guest is Jolynn. Jolynn had an amazing Monday interview. It really blew up all our minds, and it was so amazing and so powerful. Jolynn, you're welcome back again in our show. Thank you to be here with us.
Thank you for having me again. I loved being on Monday, so I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, directly from Los Angeles. How is it?
It's amazing. It's sunny and warm, and I actually have I had on a little tank top dress, but for the interview, I put on something nicer over the top. I didn't want people and get too jealous of the warm weather.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you know what? Here in London, it has been windy and it has been crazy for these last 2 days. So, apart from the weather, it's such a privilege to have you right now here with you. And together with you, we have decided today to have a Q&A, a workshop, and a chat together. There's so much you can bring to our audience. And so we are glad that you are here with us. And the first question I want to ask you is, you started this amazing movement, Beyond Brave. And this is so amazing. And the word beyond is the one which has catched me. And I'm thinking always about this beyond. So is it possible to go beyond pain and suffering? Is it possible to go beyond what the environment is telling us that, you cannot do that? There's COVID. This has happened. Look at this. Look at that. It's done. It's over. Instead, what you started only this movement, Beyond Brave. So tell us more about this word beyond.
Yeah, well, thanks for asking. I mean, I think Beyond Brave came to me in after asking a lot of questions of the God and the universe and our creator, saying, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? And it's interesting because the word beyond isn't something that I normally used, nor was really brave. It was like, so it was very supernatural the way it came to me. But the definition of beyond is simply to go on the further side of something. And so when I thought about Beyond Brave, and I love alliterations because it's so easy to remember, it's about going on the other side of bravery. And because so much of the world is actually stuck on the wrong side of bravery. As a matter of fact, 80% of the world is in places of anger, despair, fear, sadness, depression. And 20% are living on the other side of bravery. And so I really felt like this is what the movement is to encourage people with simple strategies on how to go beyond brave in their daily life.
That's amazing. And it's important that you actually you have been quite optimistic saying that 80%, okay? Because the numbers are way higher. For example, right now in UK, people like all around the world, people like me and you have to step up, because right now coaching could be something that can help a lot of people, because now the issues on mental health, okay? Imagine teenagers and kids, they have lost the relationship, the connection, being out hanging with friends and being all in lockdown. Imagine business owners who need to go beyond this situation of forced lockdown. The plans you had for your business are all shut down and all cut. Okay. Now, you have said that you have been so much spiritual. And just to make a clarification to our audience, and I believe you totally agree with this, there's a difference between being religious and being spiritual. Being religious are people who are scared of going to hell, and they want to keep a face. People who are spiritual are people who have been in hell and they know what it is and they have come out of it, and now they can help even other people into that journey. So how much a spiritual strength, a spiritual guidance has been important in this journey of going beyond that trauma, beyond that pain, and getting into that state of being brave and being fearless. How did
Yeah.
help in this?
Well, I mean, spirituality and religion, I like to break it up into spirituality, religion, and a relationship.
Mhm.
Okay. So religion is merely an institution and it covers all different faith and belief systems. And it's an institution where people practice a doctrine of some sort that they believe in. And so I believe that, and then spirituality is really just the beginning of a relationship, right? So spirituality is when you finally say, I believe that there's something bigger than me influencing things happening in the world, right? You haven't quite committed to a God or a creator just yet. You might think the universe or the stars or whatever, and you probably don't have a specific doctrine that you follow to guide you. And so my journey actually started with me being Christian and identifying as being Christian, to then not believing in anything in my darkest times, to then barely being able to admit that I was spiritual when people would ask me, do you believe in God or not? I would say, I believe I'm spiritual, you know. I was kind of afraid to still go there.
Yeah.
And then as my trauma and my life kind of went on and on and on, I finally found a place where I have a relationship now. And so what I like to say is I have a relationship, and my Father, my relationship, my God that I selected because I studied the doctrine and I believe in it, is Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and God, the Father, the creator of the universe, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't understand and believe in other things. So I have friends that are Muslim, Islam, Buddhist. We all use God and we have the same beautiful conversation. Okay. So we don't, religion is one that kind of has the polarity and battles. But when
Yeah.
you have a relationship, it's more collaborative, more open. It's about love and joy and optimism and hope and kindness.
Absolutely.
So that's how I kind of differentiate it.
And this was really important, how you went from a religious status into saying, now it's a kind of relationship I chose, and now I have a relationship. Now, for all of you who are watching, please drop down, because this is more of a Q&A session. If you've got any question to ask Jolynn, please ask her. We had her as our guest on Monday on the International Female Ladies Day, and it was mind-blowing. She shared her story, how she went beyond a trauma, okay? And that trauma, she had either two choices, and she chose the path of forgiveness, love, and moving forward, exactly as she's starting the movement of going beyond. Now, when it comes to business, okay, we have some audience which is mainly on LinkedIn, and people go to businesses. How can a business owner pivot, okay, and go beyond the situation right now where everything is stuck and business is no longer as it used to be even 2 years ago? Things have changed.
Yeah, exactly. And it's such a great question, because I experienced this in my own business. I'm a coach and an expert, and I'm an online business teacher. I'm a spiritual teacher. And even though my business was already virtual, I still had some challenges with how to pivot during COVID, because the place
By
and
the
the
way,
problem.
you have Doris is saying that you are awesome.
Hi, Doris. Thank you. when you come to pivoting, and what was most successful for me was not getting too much in my head, right? Not thinking about what can I do for me to make my business then work better and grow during COVID for me. What I started asking was a better question. How can I be of greater service during this time?
Wow. Wow.
How can I, yeah,
How can I be better, be or
of
give?
be of greater service to
Wow.
others in this time? Okay, big difference, because this
Absolutely.
society that we're in right now is, especially in times of scarcity, especially in time this pandemic, especially now, people are all like, me, what's in it for me? And the answers will never be found there. You will never find success only trying to reach in and grab your own needs and satisfy your own needs. And so instead, look at your business and all of the skills, and look at your expertise, look at your gifts, and say, what can I do better now with all of this to serve people in this moment? Your business can't be based on what served people 12 months ago or 18 months ago. You need to be where the world is right now and where the world is going, both emotionally, financially. And when you look at how you can do that, then and only then can you pivot your business the right direction. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time. I mean, why would you pivot right back to, saving yourself? I mean, this is a save the world kind of time for your business. And so some of the things you can also think about is, go out online and do some research about your customer. So who is your customer? Who has been your customer? And you can literally Google, greatest challenges of this person right now, who your customer is with COVID, and understand what has changed in their economical environment, what has changed about their business. Then go back and look at your skills, your solutions, and your services, and figure out, how can I solve that problem, that pain for my customer? It's a new pain that you have to solve. And in a lot of instances, we have to also maybe go beyond brave and give some things away, right? This is the time of charity. And this is the opportunity for all of us to really learn the power of that you reap what you sow.
Absolutely.
Right? So all the people who pivot right now, you better pivot to purpose. You need to pivot to a purpose that is sowing seeds that you can reap and you can harvest down the road. But if you don't pivot to purpose and you pivot to ego and scarcity, your business isn't going to exist. If you're lucky enough to exist now, it will not exist in 12 months.
Wow, that's so powerful, so powerful. And this is so true, because when the pandemic started last year and nobody knew what was going on, it was a surprise for everybody. But still right now, I see some clients who have survived the first year of lockdown, okay, the first heavy month. But right now, after 1 year from when the lockdown started in across the world, they're still keeping on doing what they used to do before, and it's still so hard to pivot, okay? Based on your experience as an expert in this area, how come and why is it so hard to make a change? Even if you know that if I do this shift, I will benefit from it. Why is it so hard, especially for business owners? They know what it is. They have heard the mentors telling them what to do, but to do that move of shifting and changing, it's so hard. Why could it be? What's the reason why it's so hard?
Well, there are several reasons, but the top two, well, let's give three. Number one, where focus goes, energy flows. So if you're focused on keeping your business in survival mode, then you're not focused on growing your business. You're focused on surviving. You're focused on cutting back. letting go of people, not hiring, getting rid of some of your technologies, cutting back on your overhead. So you can't pivot when you're in this mode of cutting everything back because you're focused on surviving. So that's number one. You can't change if you're focused on only surviving. You got to focus on, how can I take this time as an opportunity to maximize my business, not just for myself and my employees, but for the community and the people that we serve. So that's how you overcome that kind of focus issue. Ask yourself quality questions, you'll get quality answers. Okay, number two, Moses, we know this, right? In order to change anything, whether you're a smoker, whether you're a drinker, you have to have leverage. So if you're not willing to change, that means you're not motivated. And the word motivated comes from the word motive. So the reason why you're not motivated to change is because your motive isn't big enough.
Absolutely.
You don't have leverage. So you need to ask yourself more questions. If I don't change, what is it costing me? What is it costing my wife, my husband, my children, my grandchildren, my employees, my community, and my customers? And you need to ask that for all of your questions, because sometimes changing just for ourselves isn't enough. Actually, a majority of the time, we're not willing to change just for ourselves. So get leverage. Find a motive to pivot, because this is an opportunity. And then lastly, faith. Faith, guys. Napoleon Hill, it's one of the guiding principles in Think and Grow Rich is faith. Anyone who has pivoted, anyone who's been massively successful, anyone who's planted that mustard seed and grown an empire has had faith. Period. End of story. I believe it so much, I tattooed it on my arm.
Yeah. And I like that.
I don't want to forget, because this is about, do you have faith in yourself? Do you have faith in your business? Do you have faith in your employees? Do you have faith in the impact that you can make and the message that you have and the overall purpose? And then if you don't have faith in those things, how can you possibly have faith in believing in something that you can't even see? And so in order to pivot, you got to do things that you don't want to do, that are scary, because you don't know what the outcome might be. But in your heart, you kind of know you need to do it.
Absolutely.
And so many people they're so hung up on what is the outcome. Again, going back to what's in it for me, that they just simply will not take that leap of faith and just try. Just try to try something new, right? And quite frankly, if you're not tapping into playing this amazing, awesome game of faith that we get to play every day, because we live in a universe that is guided by this omnipresent God, this omnipotent, this omniscient, this all-knowing, like, you're really missing out. Like, that's where my joy comes from, is I play every day. I play. People like, I admire you so much for your faith. And I'm like, I don't know why. I'm just playing. I'm having fun. I'm like, oh, I felt it. Let's do it. And it's just fun and energetic, and it brings new ideas and serves so many more people than I could have ever imagined.
Absolutely. And for those of you who have just joined in right now, we've got our guest from Los Angeles, expert Jolynn Swafford. And Jolynn, right now, she has answered an amazing question. I just asked her, how come people do not take change and do not take action to pivot, even when they know that in this pandemic, it's necessary for them to pivot? They don't do it. She gave 3 steps. Write them down. Wherever you are, whichever part of the world you are, write it down, okay? It is focus, leverage, and faith. Focus, leverage, and faith. And this has to be the order. I like the order. Focus. Where's your mind going on? Where's your attention? Leverage. For who are you doing it? Is it only for you, or you have a bigger purpose, a bigger meaning that's impacting you to have a reason why to change, and then faith. Believe even if you don't see it. Follow that guide and go ahead and believe it. And there we go. We've got Rich. Hello, Rich Waterman, my coach.
Hey,
And
Rich.
Rich is my coach, and Rich was in many events of Tony Robbins. Rich was there supporting the platinum members, which
Yes.
Jolynn was one of them. That's amazing. Rich, it's an honor for me to have you right now. Thank you for your support. It's always great to have you there. Then we've got also Doris. Doris was saying some are even doing better than they ever have before pandemic, as myself. Well done, Doris. I believe that you are doing one of the steps or all the steps Jolynn has just shared. And then Doris was moving on with something like this. Sometimes you have to do something you've never done to get to that place you have never been, but only dreamed of. Amazing. Great contribution,
Yes.
Doris. We appreciate it. And then
Thank you,
Angel is saying, I love that we get to tap into this game of faith. Wow.
It's
I
a
mean,
game. It's like,
yeah,
it's not supposed to be scary or anything. It's supposed to be fun. I think that's why we were given this gift, but it takes trust and it takes believing in something bigger than yourself, right? So if you're still stuck in the ego, you think you're running the show and you got control over everything, you are missing out, because it's this faith and it's this uncertainty. I think that's what, when you think about the 6 human needs.
Absolutely. Wow.
Right?
Wow.
You think,
this is an amazing revelation, because I have never thought of the uncertainty that Tony Robbins, and in our environment, we speak so much. That uncertainty is also faith.
It is.
That's so
It's
powerful.
and the quality of your life is in direct proportion to the amount of uncertainty you can tolerate.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's what the quality of your life is in direct proportion to the amount of leaps of faith you can make on a regular basis. Because that's what I'm just like, I can't tell you guys, like, and Moses, we talked about this Monday, but for those of you who don't know, my father died in August from COVID. Less than 2 months later, my mother passed away. 2 weeks later, my ex-father-in-law passed away. 2 weeks after that, a very close family member also passed away. I'm just saying, like what you see is just a demonstration of what faith is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so grateful that I get to wake up and feel this calling in my heart and then take action. Because to have faith requires action.
Absolutely.
Otherwise there's no, what's the point? Oh, great. Thanks for telling, great. You have to do something. And it's that action that just excites me and lights me up.
And looking at what Angel said, by the way, drop down which part of the world are you watching us right now? Because we've got audience from all over the world. So drop down in the comments which part of the world you're watching us right now. And for example, Angel has brought in something. Thank you so much, Angel. Angel talked about game of faith, exactly as you used your word. Mm-hmm. Now, I want to ask a direct question. In this pivoting and in this change of the world, how important is the playfulness, the game part, the part of being a child and living life as an adventure, as, okay, there's this thing, how can we make fun of it? Because, for example, Totka always says one thing which is important. She says, I want to feel alive when I'm doing business. I want to feel alive when I'm helping people's lives and changing them. So there's an element of playfulness. Would you like to talk more about that?
Yes, I would love to talk more about that, actually. You would have thought I gave you that question ahead of time, and I did not. But so that childlikeness is also very, very important. And one of the things that I like to, people call me a joy evangelist because I know the secrets to joy, to finding joy. I'm an expert in joy, and I like to guide people down that path. And one of the best ways to experience joy is to be childlike. And if you think about, like, if you've ever been at a wedding, right? And there's a reception and everyone's just kind of barely dancing. No one's really having fun. But then all the little kids get on the dance floor and they start dancing and they're just like, they're having fun, and don't have a care in the world. And everybody watches them, and we experience joy through watching this childlike behavior, right? But we can do this too. I mean, at the beginning and end of all of my mastermind calls, we dance and everyone stands and we're goofy and we play. And, because this is joy, not having a care in the world and just being playful. And exactly what Angel said, playing a game. It's like every day you get to wake up and God wants to play a game. That's it. Like, in a fun game, like, hey, I got this idea. Do you want to try it today? And you're like, sure, let's just try it, and you just do it with this blind faith, But yeah, I think that, take yourself, and if you're in your challenge today is, if you're in the grocery store or Target or out for a walk, just like stop and like dance a little, or like play some music in your headsets and sing, and just see how many people smile and experience that joy from you. And they'll
Absolutely.
go, yeah, that's cool. Like, I want to do that more. And maybe they'll start doing it.
Absolutely powerful, because in this moment where everybody is worried, afraid, and serious, vaccines are late, this is that, we take our life too much serious and we lose that playfulness, that joy. Thank you for this reminder. It was so powerful. So we've got people from California. So back to your home, Doris.
Yeah.
Then we've got Rich from UK, London. And then
nice.
Also Nikolai from Bulgaria, Sofia, and he's saying this
Beautiful.
conversation is great and very useful. Great to have you, Nikolai, right here. And then Angel was saying something really interesting. She was saying, you're the real deal, Jolynn. We've been through the peaks and valleys with you and have witnessed your faith in action firsthand. So this is a great testimony and witness of all the ups and downs they've had in life. So thank you, Angel, to have shared this. And for a speaker and a coach, this is always the moment where you need to recharge yourself. And when somebody that you have helped has gone through the journey with you, say something like that, you say it's worth all the journey.
It is. Thank you.
And then Angel is going on saying, yes, I love that distinction. Sometimes it takes faith to it. Sometimes I take faith too seriously. So thank you so much for helping us with this playful and joyful part of a child.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to rewrite the whole Christian narrative, because I think so many of us were raised that it was judgmental and it was negative, and that there are things to fear, and the truth, that's the farthest thing from the truth. It's actually, the closer you get in your relationship, the less fear you have. So it's interesting, but maybe that's part of the Beyond Brave purpose, is to spread that message too.
Yeah.
Oh, Lily is back. Hi, Lily.
Yeah, Lily's back. Yeah, Lily is one of our members, and she's an amazing soul. So please feel free to ask any question right now in the comments, and Jolynn will answer to them. Okay, so we are really interacting, and I love that. But if you've got any question, just write them down there, and Jolynn is gonna be there to answer them. And Jolynn, you are an expert in creating strategies that could make the business easier for a lot of people who are pivoting right now from going to the traditional way of doing business to the online. Okay. Now, when it comes to strategies, okay, and somebody says, "Hey, I don't have a business." Okay. Yes, I need to think of how I can help. I don't need to think about me, but how do I start? Where do I start? How can I create my online business? I have no clue and no idea. I even don't know who I am. I have no position, no authority. What could be your best advice right now for somebody who may be asking this question?
Well, yes, exactly. I mean, I think that's where all, when we're empty and we're left with nothing and we're forced to change is when all greatness is birthed and comes alive. And again, I keep using this word as opportunity because this is an opportunity for you to find those gifts, to tap into why are you here? Like, why are you on the planet? And I think that's the one biggest amazing thing about COVID, of all things, is that it has created an awakening of sorts where people are
Mhm.
saying, do I like what I'm doing? Is it filling me up? Is it, serving the world? And it's made them really think, what is my purpose?
Wow.
And so many people, they come to me, Jolynn, what's my purpose? Because once I figure out my purpose, then I'll be happy. And I've been in this journey, and I went on this purpose journey of finding my purpose. And let me just save you some time. Because your
Thank you.
purpose your purpose isn't like a thing. It's not one thing, and it's not one destination. Your purpose is really to live. Our purpose is really to live in the character and image of God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so and I've studied across all religions. Okay, I've studied joy across all religions. Love and joy are common in all religious doctrines. And the idea is that in all the religions, we're all in the image of God, right? And in mine in particular, and others, these gods are kind and loving and sacrificing and brave, and they're servants. So really, the mission and our destiny and your purpose is to live as much of heaven while you're on earth. Okay, what do I mean by that?
And not wait for later.
And not wait for later. And I know some entrepreneur business person is out there going, what does this have to do with business, Jolynn? And I'm like, well, maybe if you don't know, you should start listening even more. because we're at a time now where this is your calling and your time to be able to go, what did I love to do when I was a little child? Going back to the childlike. So number one, what did you love to do? Did you play with cars? Did you cook? What did you do? I played, it's embarrassing, but kind of embarrassing, but I played like businesswoman. Okay. I'd played businesswoman. And then when I wasn't playing businesswoman, because I would go in my dad's office and I'd play with his supplies, I thought it was so cool. When I wasn't doing that, I was playing preacher.
Mm-hmm.
I knew the entire Episcopalian service, and I would just sit there. I'd break the bread. I'd do the whole thing. I don't know. It was super fun. And then when I wasn't doing that, I was playing teacher. So what am I right now? I'm a teacher. I teach people how to grow and start and grow businesses online, build a personal brand, and get press. I'm a preacher because I'm a joy evangelist. And everything that I teach, the foundation comes from the very first personal development book ever on the planet, right? The Bible, my Bible. And then lastly, I'm a businesswoman. I'm a CEO. I founded a company. I have employees. I have a P&L statement. I have a budget. I have all those things. I have partnerships, collaborations. And so what were you playing when you were little? Right? Because what happened is society conditions you over time that you should be a doctor, you should be a lawyer. I know in India in particular, the big thing is you become an engineer, right? So many engineers out there were meant to be movie stars, maybe, right? But they were told that they weren't enough, that they weren't successful, that they weren't going to fit in. And even in some societies, if you didn't become these high professions, you were considered an outcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so, so that's really number one. And I'm not saying you always need to monetize your passion, but you need to make sure you sprinkle some of that passion into what you're doing so that you can feel alive when you're doing it. Because you could make millions of dollars, but if you're a millionaire and you're not alive and fulfilled, this is my personal philosophy. None of my students will I allow them to go down a path of just doing something for money. Absolutely. It goes against everything. Yeah. And so I always make sure that they're centered on what is in their heart. What does the world need, and what are they good at? Okay. Absolutely. Yeah. And so there's kind of like a little triangle. So to figure it out, you want to take your skills. Okay. You want to take a market need, and then you want to take your passion. And if you were to draw a little circle and they all overlap, the little diamond in the middle that forms, that's where you start your business.
Absolutely. And do you know what, Stephen, a friend from Birmingham, he's saying that 100% school system is not good for creatives, just in line with what you said regarding what could happen in the culture in India. By the way, for all our Indian friends who will watch the recording, because right now in India, it's deep late in the night. Hope this is helpful for you. We love you and we appreciate you. We've got a question from Rich Waterman, the man himself. And Rich is asking, Jolynn, what values are most important to you? How do you express them in your business? Thank you, Rich, for this question.
That's a great question. So the values that are most important to me, obviously, are tattooed on my arm: faith and gratitude. So without these, I don't know where I would be. Faith, gratitude, and love. And so my entire business model is based on loving bravely. It's based on building products and services and delivering them in a way that shows the client that I love them. I love them so much that I'm willing to put my own needs aside for them, which is so this is the expression of them in my business. An example is one of my students recently had some troubles in her home and had to move out. And didn't have a place to go. And so my company not only expresses our values in writing, but we express them in our actions. And so because she's a student and a client, we wanted to make sure she could feel the values of our company of faith, gratitude, love, kindness, right? And so we found her a place to stay. We paid for her hotel so that she could regroup herself. We gave her coaching at pro bono, one-on-one life coaching from me to help her understand that how to deal with the home issues in a way of love and grace and forgiveness, so that she didn't have to break any ties there, and then empowered her from a place of faith to go make her next move, to see that one door closing was just another one opening for her. And so we don't just put our values in writing. We are our values. We do our values for the people that we serve. And I think that is what differentiates us from other coaches in the marketplace, other online course designers. We aren't online course designers and makers. We aren't just coaches. We are a community of people who love so fearlessly and want to build this movement of entrepreneurs who create from a place of love and not greed.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And it's incredible how these values have shown up in your business, because you've just given us an example right now. And also these values have helped you to create a network around
Yes.
you of high valuable people. I mean, you are able to call Oprah a friend. You're able to call Story a friend. You're able, I mean, you have been for several times in the platinum partner membership. So
Yep.
these are the closest people who stay for 1 year
Yeah.
with Tony in all his events. And you have the chance to have proximity and be close with all these people. So these values, for those of you who have just joined right now, if you've got a question, write it now because time is running. But for those of you who have joined right now, she has Rich, my coach, asked her a question. And this question was, how do you bring these, what are the values most important for you, and how do you show them up in your business? And she has just told us now that her values are faith, gratitude, and love. And they're not only words, but they are a way of expressing them in action. This is so amazing. And just wanted to add one more point, is that these values have allowed to attract people in business that have helped you, have expanded, and they have made you to even grow and expand as a human being. So how much is important your peer group and your environment?
Well, I can tell you, I certainly would not be where I am right now had I not been a part of, the Tony Robbins Platinum Partners family. That was a big game changer for me because in my life at the time, I was the leader, if you will. I mean, I was already kind of at the top of the peer group, and I woke up one day and I was like, who's raising my game? You really need to be,
Wow.
you've got to be around other people to show you that you're still playing kind of small. So, that whole idea, my mom used to always say, a big fish in a small sea. And a lot of people are big fish in a small sea. It's very scary to go back to being the little fish when you finally made it to be the big fish.
Wow, I like that example.
Yeah.
It really pictures it. Wow.
But the truth is, that's actually the time that you have to let somebody else be the big fish, and then you got to move on. And it's scary and uncomfortable, and all of the real truth of how you really feel about yourself come out when you start surrounding yourself with people here when you're here. Right? But the key is that these people, when you get into these organized kind of mastermind groups, they help pull you up and they lift you up, and then you end up here, and then you do the same, and then you move and you go to another group and another group, and you keep growing and growing and growing. And so it's critical. As a matter of fact, I do one-on-one coaching, and it could be very lucrative to take a one-on-one client, but I still promote and encourage them to go into the mastermind. Because when they work with me one-on-one, I mean, yeah, I'm good. I know what I'm doing, but it's one perspective and it's one energy, right? It's just me, my energy, and their energy, two people. Masterminds and groups give a collective energy. And it's magical that actually when you bring this collective energy together, it creates a momentum that gets things done faster.
Absolutely.
I was just reading, actually, Napoleon Hill published a book called Outwitting the, actually, this was published after he died. It's called Outwitting the Devil. Okay. And this book is so fascinating. If you guys haven't read it, I can't believe I missed this book in all of the thousands of books that I've read. But interestingly enough, Napoleon Hill had a conversation at some point with the devil. And he wrote out the entire interview. And the whole time the devil kept telling him, if you publish this, you're going to expose me and I'm not going to be able to be successful anymore. And so I'm going to hurt you if you publish this book. So it didn't publish when he was alive. And then it didn't publish after he died. It didn't even publish until 15 years after his wife died, because they were so afraid that the devil would come after them. But the devil said the single most threatening thing to his dark work, his darkness, was when Napoleon Hill decided to start masterminding with his wife. Because then they joined light and light. So they had double the light and it's just one dark. Then when he decided, wow, this mastermind thing's smart, he got more light, more light, more light, 10 times, 20 times. Then all of a sudden, all these other Carnegie, Ford, and all of these big players are part of the mastermind. And the darkness, the enemy, the Satan, devil had no power. So it's hard to fight the spiritual battle alone. Just like the young lady that we helped get the hotel room. She was in the spiritual battle because she was trying to rise up. She had just gotten some new coaching clients. She was trying to rise up so that she was finding herself. She found her superpower. She was stepping into this person of joy and light and excitement and optimism. And the family member said, "You're not good enough. You shouldn't be doing this. You're not worthy." That is spiritual battle, y'all. And if this person would have not been in my mastermind, she might be sleeping in her car. But because she is in the mastermind, we came together. We found all of our connections. We lifted her up energetically. We came up with the money to put her in a hotel. And now she's going to have a new beginning with a new worth about herself. That's the power of a mastermind.
Amazing. And in fact, we have Maria. She's saying amazing.
Amazing.
And then we've got Rich, who is saying fabulous answer. And what an amazing example of loving your customer, loving the person who was with you, that you went beyond the extra mile, even giving pro bono. So not only supporting her with the materialistic, but you supported her emotions, supported her feelings, and supported her mind, which is unbelievable and it's priceless. Okay.
Yes.
Then we've got a question from Stephen. By the way, people are saying that, for example, Angel is saying, "Oh, I need to read that book." So thank you so much for that tip. I think a lot of us have to read that book.
It's so good.
Stephen is saying the problem I have struggled with is love to help. I love to help. So I create works for people. And I know I don't charge anywhere near enough. How much create with love can be bad for your career from a financial point of view? Wow. Strong question, Stephen. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's an excellent question, right? And because I know I used to be that person where I would just coach for free and I would help people for free all the time because that was serving. You know, I just wanted to serve and help and I just could not turn anybody away. And then one day I found myself so depleted energetically and financially that I was like, wow, I need to figure something out. Something needs to change. I had leverage, right? And when it comes, there's a combination of loving somebody and giving them and serving them, but then also having valuing your impact, valuing the work and the knowledge and the struggles that you went through in order to be able to help that person. Okay. So sometimes when we go, "Oh, we're giving this away for free," we've fooled ourselves that that's love and we're giving it away. But the truth could be, and probably is, that the conviction and confidence and self-worth and value haven't risen to the level yet that you can have that conviction to say, "You know what, I can get this result for you. It happens time and time again. And I will, this is what it costs. This is the investment it would take to get that result." Now, for the pure lovers out there in the world like me, I actually decided to split my business into two because I was struggling with this. I called my free stuff my ministry, right? So I was like, okay, I'll be a ministry, and through this ministering heart, I will help people. And then I have a business. Okay. I don't have two different companies or anything. It's just the way I think about things. So when people come to me and they want free business advice, I'll give them a little, but it's way different than somebody who messages me saying, I'm rock bottom. I'm going to commit suicide. Can you help me? That's ministry. Like I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you the tools that you need. So this is how I personally do it. But I think that at some point, this is where that faith comes in. That's like these people are being sent to you. And sometimes it's like a little bit of a test of what is the level of trust you have in your faith. So faith requires being still and listening, right, to what you need to do. It requires action, but it requires trust and letting go of the outcome. Let me give you an example. So when I started Beyond Brave, another thing God came to me and said, because it was COVID, and I was like, I asked the question, how can I use my gifts to better serve people in this moment? Ask good questions, right? God came to me and said, by the way, all that knowledge that you have doesn't belong to you. He said, I own that. So he said, give it away. And I was like, no way. You want me to give it away? Like, I'm struggling over here. I'm trying to think of how to charge more right now, actually. Like, how do I come up with a $10 or $15 or $20,000 offer, which is what we call a high ticket offer? I'm like, man, a few of those high ticket offers would just change my life right now. And then God tells me to give it away. So this is faith. What would you do? Well, I decided to be obedient and take that leap of faith because I trust that the outcome, trust that my God, my creator, is already paved the way. Like I'm a trust fund baby of God's bank account. So are you, right? And sometimes we just have to go down the path of shedding our personal needs before he will meet ours. And so I sat down, and in 2 weeks, I found some business partners and some collaborators, and we created a 70 video course, and we gave it away for free. And then God turned around and blessed us with a 6-figure month. How? I don't even know, to be honest. I don't even care at this point, right? But it happened. And 600 people got educated and trained all over the world, in the Middle East and in third world countries. They barely even have computer access. They have to go to cafes to watch our course so that they can unlock the freedom, their future. Absolutely. And so that's just part of it, right? But the difference is, Stu, I think was your name, Steve, is that sometimes you'll know when you're in the right path of that giving from love and creating from love and giving free, because one will deplete you and one will fuel you. And so when you feel fueled and you're on a mission, like you're on a rocket ship, then you know you're on the right path. When you feel depleted, brother, you got to pivot. You got to take a step over. You got to start asking that question again. Because when you're in the flow and when you're headed where you're supposed to go, then you will feel alive, not depleted. I hope that helps answer your question.
Yeah, definitely. He says, I like that idea. Okay. And then as we are wrapping up on Totka, going back to the story, Totka was saying it's hard to fight the spiritual battle alone. Totally true, Totka. And then Lily also, she's saying, wow, this is really out of this world. How do we recognize God's signs?
I love this question. Well, first, I do know that God will come to you. He tries to come to us a lot, but we're busy. If we're not busy working, we're busy. And
Yeah.
so the first thing is to realize that we're human beings, not human doings. So I couldn't hear a word from God until I started waking up early. And by the way, I did miracle morning, 5 a.m., blah, blah, blah. I never had enough leverage to keep doing it because it never worked for me. But when I decided I needed that 1 hour of quiet time to just connect with my creator because I was so busy during the day, all of a sudden, that's when I started literally hearing. So people go, how do you hear God? God is your conscience. I'm going to say that again. God speaks to you through your conscience. That's what it is. Knowing, you know things like, I should call my mom today, but you get busy as a human doing and you don't do it. Or it says, I feel like I should offer everybody in my mastermind a free one-on-one session today. And then your ego or the ego comes in and goes, no, don't do that. You shouldn't do that. You're worth more, blah, 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 right? But faith is like, I'm just going to do it. And so the number one thing is you have to be still. It actually says in the Bible, be still and know that I am here. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am always with you. So if you're not still and you're wondering why you don't hear God, this is why. I tell people it's like a relationship. If you're married or you're in love, you don't just not talk to your spouse. If you don't talk to your spouse, you're not going to hear anything. Resentment's going to build. He might move on, right? To someone else. And so, we have a bad habit of what I call 911 calling God. Like when we're having a crappy day and we're like, come save me. And when he's like, well, yo, I haven't talked to you in a year. Where you been, right? And so I would just say, don't have the one-on-one calls. Have a loving relationship. Have a relationship where you have a regular conversation. And so because I've worked really hard on this relationship by devoting my quiet time to this relationship, then I get to hear more, as you will as well. And then over time, you'll be like, oh, that's God. Oh, or God also speaks to you through other people, like right now with Tatka and Moses and I, someone might come up to you and say, hey, have you called your mom lately? You go, nah, she'll be okay. But that's another way that God speaks to you. Or like maybe your daughter or your child comes up and goes, Mom, you're not looking so hot lately. You need to take care of yourself. That's God. So you have to just be super aware of, all of the different ways God speaks to you through signs. You might see a billboard. You might see your Alexa might go off. Like my Alexa went off yesterday. Oh no, don't go off. She's going to go off. And out of nowhere, y'all, like no joke. It started playing a song saying, you are made in the image of God. And I didn't ask it to. It just did. So I say, all right, thank you for that message. So it's about just opening up and being more and more aware, because I'm telling you, God is everywhere all the time. Those are the words: omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, everywhere, all the time, all-knowing, everything. So it's just a matter of, are you tuned in to the right radio station?
Amazing, amazing. And going back to the previous messages, we also have Simona, who was saying how to create from a place of love, answering the topic we were talking previously. And we've got so many other messages. I'm sorry if I cannot put all of them on. The podcast saying, wow. Then who else is there? There's Angel putting the rockets as we're going ahead. Dotka is saying all the knowledge we've got is not ours, give it away. Angel is saying be still.
Mm.
The angel is again saying, I can't tell you how many times God used Jolynn to send me a message, always impeccable timing, great. And then you've got Lily saying, thank you so much. So that's really, really, really amazing. And then we'll have some people who are saying, how can we get in touch with you? So what I'm going to
Oh,
do is I would like you to just tell us your Facebook pages. Oh, my camera's off. Just give me a second. I'm right here.
yeah.
My
So
camera, my camera is on fire.
it's
So
literally on fire.
go ahead,
Wow.
Jolynn.
Okay. Yeah. So my you can find me on Instagram. So you see my name, Jolynn Swafford. So that's where I am on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. It's all the same. My website is jolynswafford.com. So you can also go there. There's lots of free tools like how to get booked on podcast, there's a personality test. There's one of my favorites is my destiny worksheet. If you're interested in like, what is my destiny? Whoever, the person who asked that question, there's a 13-page workbook on my website at jolynswafford.com. And if you scroll down to the bottom, you can get that instant download. I've got just a lot of great free things, the blogs and videos. So I'm also on YouTube as Jolynn TV. So I'm just like, I would love for you to send me a DM when you do connect with me and say hi so I can kind of get better acquainted with you. So if you follow me on any of those places and send me a message, I'll be sure to respond. But that's kind of how I like to connect with people.
Amazing. Here I am back again. I had to change the battery of the camera. So that's really amazing. And thank you, Jolynn. So anybody can follow Jolynn directly. And Jolynn, I know you have so much more to give us. And let me give you this announcement. Together with Jolynn, we are planning to create a specific program, okay, that you can watch online, and you can follow her teachings and her guidance, and she can help you and support you. This is going to be something we are going to design specifically for the people who are part of E2E. So I'm going to take right now the chance. Jolynn, please just stay with us a couple of seconds. I'm just going to give a chance to everybody to be able to be reminded of the opportunity they can have ahead of subscribing to our membership. And the advantage of subscribing to this membership is that you will have a chance to be part of this community, which is the E2E community, and you will be able to have special treatment when it's time to get into dealing with speakers like Jolynn. So what happens? We are offering you the chance. Let me see. The link is right here. There you go. You can subscribe, and you can either subscribe on a monthly basis, and every month you have 4 amazing, incredible experts that on Monday they'll have the interview, and Thursday is going to be for a limited number of people. And when you are a member in this membership, what happens? You get to have special, amazing discounts and products and services that if you get them outside, they would either cost you more or they are not there. They are only designed specifically for you. So click on the link there, join in and subscribe in the membership. It's £37, the monthly one, but I would recommend you to subscribe for the yearly one, $297, which is out of brain. $297, you have basically 52 speakers and experts in different areas to support you and help you to grow and go to the next level. All right. So thank you so much. And Jolynn, I just want to say once again, thank you to have been with us. Okay.
My pleasure. It's such an honor. Thank you.
Yeah. And we had so much fun, and the interaction being so wild and crazy. I loved it that I had to change my battery. So my camera literally went on fire and I had to change it. So Jolynn, we will plan another quick session shortly
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
we can give the chance to people to get into your programs and get
Yeah.
into something that you're gonna prepare specifically for the members of E2E and Extra.
Yes. It's going to be
Okay?
so exciting. Yes. And
Yeah.
you guys stay tuned because it's not going to take long. Like we're going to turn this around fast for you guys because we know that, life is short and we need to get together. And I know that Moses and Todka and E2E, we're already talking about like massive discounts and awesome things to really empower you and let you have an opportunity to make this decision. So stay tuned. Don't miss out.
Absolutely. And just to finalize, there's this message to wrap up. Community and connection is needed more than ever these days. So you have the chance of joining our community of E2E. We are going to be there to support you and bringing you the best people in the world. And it was our privilege to have here our guest, Jolynn, our friend, our sister, Jolynn. Thank you so much. Jolynn, stay safe, stay blessed, and please, all of you follow Jolynn. That's the name, Jolynn Swafford. Follow her on all social media, and she'll be well happy to be there to serve you with love, faith, and gratitude.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And for all of you, stay safe, stay strong, and see you on the other side next week. Ciao.